Right, hello everyone. Welcome back to DLRL Racing League. Today is round 4 for the Dutch Grand Prix in season 6. Right, let's go over the standings while everyone's joining. So, right, the standings are Fred, uh, the championship leader in the McLaren, um, leads with 45 points. Then we have Keanu in P2 with 40. Then we have Mini in P3 with 35. Then we have Sean with 32. Zoro with 27, Chris with 25, Formula Cringe with 21, Mama with 20, Will with 18, Jameer with 16, Gagli with 14, Tokai with 11, Epic with 10, Mink with 8, Bilupip with 8, Jakru with 4, Sam Carls with 2, Fred Parsons with 1, Coral and Lancy with 1 point, and the rest still yet to score. And for the constructors, we have McLaren, the constructor championship leaders, with 80 points. Then we have Ferrari with 72. Then we have Mercedes with 48. Red Bull with 43. Aston Martin with 39. Alpine with 27. Williams with 25. AlphaTauri with 2. Haas with 2. And Alfa Romeo with 1 point. So going to round 4, every constructor has scored in D1. And still some people are yet to join. We should have uh, we should have 90 people with us. And so far we've got 14. We're 16 now. Jakku in the Williams, Rich Swansea also in the Williams yet to join, and Sean the Ferrari yet to join. Rich Swansea informed us that he has an update that he has to download first. Right, we're good to go now. Sean isn't joining, and Jack is will join right now during quali. But Rich Swansea will probably join late in Q3 due to him having an update. But we're underway in Zandvoort. It's many drivers' home races, including the likes of Mike, Tim, who else? We have Mike, Tim, Keanu, but he's not joining us. Lancy, but he's not joining us. And so is Midas. So now we're underway in qualifying, and Jack's joined. So we have 17 drivers for tonight. So we have Sam Cards will be the first one to exit his garage. Yeah, it is Sam Cards in the AlphaTauri. He's managed to score 2 points for his team in Monaco, where half the grid finished, and his teammate GT Play Monster is right behind him. Then you have the likes of Mama, who's behind them. Right, let's go with Sam for now. Zandvoort is a, a tricky circuit. It's very harsh on the curbs, especially this one here on the exit. If you go over it, you go straight on, and you will lose time, or even spin for that matter. And over here, you have to have a good exit for this, the back straight. And this is a very sharp corner. Right, Sam cards rounding at the final two corners, and he will begin his run. Sam cards will start the first lap of qualifying here in Zandvoort. He goes a bit deep on the entry. Sam Cards will set a 24.8 for the first sector. Let's see what he could do in the middle sector as he goes extremely deep. And that's his lap done. Let's go with his teammate Jet Flame Monster on the mediums actually. And let's see if Sam will give slipstream to his teammate. As gives him a bit of slipstream, and Jet Flame Monster sets a 48.9 or 49.8 through the first and middle sector. Into the final two corners he goes, and to this banking, the final banking, and Jet Flame Monster will set the benchmark of a 1 minute 11.7 in the AlphaTauri. Mama's next. He set a 48.4 in the first and middle sector. Sam Cards will set a 1 minute 33 because he went off and gave some slipstream to his teammate. Mama across the line in the Mercedes. He goes P1 with a 1 minute 9.5. So Mama is a lone driver for Mercedes tonight, since both Zoro and Tim could make it. Who's next now? Is it Mike? Mike goes P2. They're 1 minute 10 flat. He's on the mediums though, compared to his teammate. As Jameer has made a mistake somewhere and sets a 1 minute 22. To Tim we go. Tim goes behind the two Mercedes cars. His teammate Zoro, meanwhile, across the line he goes P2. So it's a Mercedes, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Aston Martin in the top 4. As Sam Cards goes up to P5 with a 1 minute 10.9. As Jameer spun, and he's hit the 150 meter block. He doesn't have visible damage as Chris goes fastest with a 1 minute 8.9. Chris, after he missed Silverstone last week and after an accident in Monaco, is looking to get back. And Leighton's now starting his flying lap. He has not had the best start of seasons so far. He's missed Saudi and he's missed Silverstone, and he's disqualified. He was disqualified from Monaco due to a glitch, which left him on 0 points coming into Zandvoort. Let's see if he could score points today. or even a podium, or even a win, as he sets a 24-1 for the first sector. He goes a bit on the curb on the exit of turn 8. Sets a 48 flat through the first and middle sector. Let's see what the Red Bull driver could do as Fred is out. Oh, I forgot he has to serve a quali ban for this round. As Leighton goes P1 with a 1 minute 8.9. Yeah, Fred got 2 penalty points for an incident and 2 penalty points for talking in tickets, which left him on 4. And 4 penalty points is a quali ban, unfortunately for him. I mean, he's done a stellar job in Silverstone. He's crushed in the sprint, which made him start P18, and he's recovered to the podium. Let's see if he could do that tonight. Let's go to the Alfa Romeo of Fred Parsons. Yeah, Alexa's on the Inters. That's a 24-4 for the first sector. Fred Parsons has scored the one and only point for Alfa Romeo this season, last round at Silverstone, as he sets a 48-5 for the first and middle sector. Fred Parsons across the line, he will go P6, so ahead of Mike in the Mercedes and ahead of Tim in the Aston Martin. He's doing a good job as his teammate goes P8, so Mike's in a never mind, as Mini goes P3 in the McLaren. Alexa's on the Inters. Will is also on the Inters, but he's coming into the pits. Now let's see JTP Monster. He's 8 tenths behind his teammate, which is not a good sign. But he improves by 2.5 tenths. As improving for GT Play Monster is crucial, because the drivers behind him, the likes of Alexa, Will and Jameer, are going to improve. So the relegation battle is going to be between the AlphaTauris and Jack, if I'm not mistaken. He loses a bit of time in the middle sector, and he twitches on the exit of turn 12. And he's made a mistake, so that's the end of his lap. Oh, has he actually made a mistake? No, he hasn't. There was a glitch for me. My bad, guys. But he improves, he goes 4 tenths quicker. But he's still 4 tenths behind his teammate. But to be fair to him, he's on the mediums, so he'd be quite slower. As some cars, the other AlphaTauri is going to begin a lap. Let's see if he can improve his 1 minute 10.9. As improving for him would be crucial. Sam Carlt through the first sector, he's a 10.5 up on his previous time. Through this tricky section, he's run out of ERS, which is not a good sign. Let's see if it could affect him on his lap. As he goes a bit twitchy on the exit of turn 10, and he goes 2 tenths quicker, less than 2 tenths quicker, through the first and middle sector. So he's improved a bit through the middle sector. Let's see what he could do in the final 2 corners and the final sector itself. Sam Carts, from his 1 minute 10.9, jumps up to a 1 minute 10.5. So he's 13 milliseconds behind the line cookie. It's a reasonable lap from him, as Jameer in the Alpine goes up to P6. He's safe for now. I reckon the top 9 at the moment, as Mama's out, top 9 at the moment are going to be safe. What the likes of Will and Alexa are going to improve their times, because they were on the inters before that. Let's go on aboard with Will since he's on a lap. So Will's on the mediums now. So Will coming through the back straight, he goes. He improves by 2 seconds, actually. So Will, across the line, he will go from P15 on the grid to P3. So he's going to be safe. Now let's monitor Alexa. Let's see what he could do on a proper lap. So Alexa, after the banking, sets a 24.3, so goes 1 second quicker than his previous lap time. Let's see what he could find through the middle sector. Alexa with a 3 second improvement, actually 3.4 seconds, as he gets a bit of traffic from the Ferrari of Will, but that's not going to affect him much. And Alexa, rounding out the final corner, he will jump up to P6 actually. So best of the rest at this point. Let's see what JTK Monster can do. Let's see if he could challenge Jack for the Q2 spot. So Mini's retired. He thinks he's safe, and I pretty much agree with him. JT Play Monster, a 10th improved, not a second. My bad. A 10th improved for JTK Monster. Let's see what he could do in the middle sector. JT Play Monster with a 5.4, with a 5 tenths improvement, 5.5 tenths. It's looking good for the AlphaTauri driver, and JT Play Monster will come across the line and jump up a place with a 1 minute 10.6, but he's behind his teammate. As Jack will, Mike's retired, Jameer's retired. So Jack will have to improve by 4 tenths at the very least to knock JT Play Monsters out of Q2, Q1, and book himself a spot for Q2. As there's less than a minute left in the clock. So Jack starts his lap. His final shot at Q3, Q2, at the Q2 spot. So Tim goes up P6. So Jack coming through the back straight, and Jack will improve by nearly 3 tenths, but that's not enough, as he will have to gain a miracle through these final 2 corners. Jack coming through the final 2 corners of the circuit. Jack, will he make it out of Q1? He is out, actually. So Jack is out of qualifying, and he's missed out. He's missed out by a tenth to JT Play Monster. I believe it's JT Play Monster and so I believe it's both AlphaTauri drivers' first time making it out of Q1. So we finished Q1 now, and we've unfortunately lost Jack and Fred due to a quali ban. But I'm curious to see how he recovers through the pack. We know he's a consistent driver, and he's pretty much leading the championship right now. And let's see if he can gain some points on for the championship. And now we're on to Q2 now. So we have the AlphaTauri of JT Play Monster, the first one of out on track. So GT Play Monster now set will set the start his lap. Let's see what the AlphaTauri driver can do. So GT Play Monster finally got the final banking, and he will set a 1 minute 10.5. But first it goes quicker, the 1 minute 10.1. Mini meanwhile goes P1 with a 1 minute 9.6. I believe it's the quickest time we've seen so far. But Will goes even quicker with a 1 minute 9.4. As Alexa slots in P7. Not a great lap from him. Tim starts his lap. Tokai with a special American helmet. We're not in America, buddy, but Tokai will go up to P2. That's a great lap from Tokai. As Mama will find P2 by 12 milliseconds to be exact. As next we have Jameer and Mike, two former teammates at Mercedes last season. Jameer will go P8, Mike will go P6. So some cards. That's a 49 flat. So some cards. Let's see what he could do. Some cards goes P12. The 1 minute 10.4. Leighton and Chris. Two Red Bull cards. And Leighton, who's missed out on the championship in Abu Dhabi last season, and now finds himself P1 with a 1 minute 8.9, as Chris goes even quicker with a 1 minute 8.8. It's the fastest time we've seen so far overall. Tim is in the pits. Zora will continue. And he goes quicker with a 1 minute 9.4. So he's now P5 ahead of Tokai and Mini. So ladies and gentlemen, here are your here's your order after every driver's first run.
Official championship race. If we continue with around 20 to 24 races a year, we can expect the 2000 GP to happen around the year 2064. Present since the very start of the sport, Ferrari takes the #1 spot for almost all constructor records.
So Will's retired.
It's the team with most world championships won, most Grand Prix wins, most pole positions, and most race entries. Let's hope we see a good effort from McLaren here today. In recent times they've fallen to somewhat of a midfield team. The last time the constructor won a world championship was in 1998. F1's distinctive sound throughout the decades is in part due to the high revving engines in use. F1 engines during the V8 era and the mid-2000s, for example, could reach 19,000 RPM. In comparison, a typical road car
So some cards with being a 10th behind Jameer and Alexa, and now wants even more. And wants even more lap times. So some cards with a 1 minute 10.4. Will he improve his current state? He goes a bit. He dips his right hand side of the car off the track, and he's 2 tenths down on his time. He has to gain like 3-4 tenths for a Q3 spot as he goes off the track and hits the polystyrene block of the 150 meters, and that's the end of his lap.
These larger tyres were designed to reduce overheating, improve grip.
Stock has a session.
Never won a race after 380.
Some cars in the pits. I believe he will have time for one more lap. Let's see what Mama could do. Mama sets a... He improves by half a tenth through the first sector. Mama is down this time. I believe he's beginning another lap. I don't think he has the ERS to do it. Yeah, he's down this time. So let's go with GT Play Monster. Oh no. Let's go with Jameer. He goes 6 tenths up on his time. Solid stuff from Jameer so far. So Jameer rounding got the final banking and will jump up to P3. What a lap from Jameer. Tim is 4 tenths down on his time, but he will have time for a flying lap at the end, as he will let his teammate through. The two Aston Martins. Mini beginning his lap. As JT Play Monsters in the gravel, and he hits the DRS polystyrene block. I believe it's there's some traffic there. Then he improving by 5 tenths. It could potentially land him behind the two Red Bull cars. Well, let's see what the Mexican could do. Mini across the line, he goes P3. The woman 9.1. Fred Parsons meanwhile goes P8 actually, and pushes Tokai down. His teammate meanwhile goes P11, as he couldn't improve, as he hits the wall and he's out of qualifying. Mike meanwhile is pushed down to the drop zone, but he will pretty much get out as he sets a P4 lap. The moment 9.1, a few hundreds behind Mini. Now let's see what Timmy Boy could do. He's not had the best start of the season so far. Still at 0 points. But let's see if he could flip that on his home race. Tim is knocked out on his home race. Ah, Timmy. Zoro P5. Mama's in the pits. And Alexa misses out by 10 milliseconds to Tokai. That is one of the most. That is so unlucky. What's happening? So here's your order for Q2 coming into Q3. Will still qualifying on mediums. So I believe he's saving a set of softs for the race. As we see, Alexa knocked out by 10 milliseconds. Tim unfortunately misses out by also a slender margin. Land Cookie, he crashes while at the end of his lap, and the two alpha tires of Sam Cards and GT Play Monster respectively. So on to Q3 now.
This was the infamous 2005 US Grand Prix, which saw 14 cars pulled out of the race due to tyre safety concerns.
So we have the two Red Bulls, two Mercedes cars, two Alpine cars, one McLaren, one Aston Martin, one Alfa Romeo, and one Ferrari. Coming into Q3 as the Aston Martin of Zoro will be the first one out on track for Q3. Let's see what the Norwegian driver could do on his first run. Oh, Tim's game actually glitched. He was 2 tenths up, but the game put him 4 tenths back, coming into sector 2. So that's why he couldn't improve. And I honestly couldn't blame him. As as it's Jim as Tokai, the first one would set a lap. The reigning D2 champion of the league. He scored a few points to be fair to him. He's not far off his teammate Tokai sets a 24-3 through the first sector.
German Grand Prix, European Grand Prix, and Luxembourg Grand Prix.
So Tokai coming through the main straight, he goes P1 with a 1 minute 9.6 actually. Zoro 10 milliseconds back. Will goes quickest with a 1 minute 8.7. Chris meanwhile is going to beat Will to provisional pole. The 1 minute 8.5. And his teammate not too far behind. Fred Parsons P6. Mama P4. Mini P5. I believe Tokai will give the DRS to his teammate. And will give the slipstream to his teammate. That's smart for the two Alpines, but Jameer can only go up to P5. That's pretty fair to him. Mike, meanwhile, will go up to P7. So here's your. So here's the order after every driver's first run.
Coincidentally, he pushed Sebastian Vettel off the top of that record, who came second place in that same race. Hello to everyone here and welcome, and a special shout out to our VIP guests, Lars Hammer and Arthur Jackman, affectionately known as the Jackhammer. If you don't know, the tubulous safety device that sits over the driver's head, aptly named the Halo, is constructed out of titanium and adds roughly 9 kilograms to the car's total weight.
So now everyone's back to the pits.
Drivers' Championships than any other country. Back grandstand here today with thousands of attendees battle it out on track. 2022, the FIA announced that the cars would now be rolling on 18-inch wheels, far larger than 13-inch wheels used prior. These larger tyres were designed to reduce overheating, improve grip, and provide more aggressive racing.
So Tokai is now on an out lap. So Tokai beginning his second lap of Q3. He goes at 10th, less than half a 10th and a half up on his time. Tokai nearly 3 tenths improved through the middle sector. He could he could be putting his Alpine in P5 or something ahead of his teammate. Tokai
This is the top tier of motor racing.
Tokai will cross the line and go ahead of his teammate. So it's a 5-6 for Alpine at the moment.
Winning a world title. For example, Graham Hill, Damon Hill, Phil Hill. Digital systems such as DLRL. 2022, the FIA announced cars will now be rolling on 18-inch wheels, 13-inch distinctive sound throughout the decades is influenced by the high revving engine. F1 engines running in the 2000s, for example, could reach 90,000 RPM. In comparison, a typical road car won't exceed around 6,000 RPM. Max Verstappen became the youngest winner of a GP at just 18 years and 228 days old when he won the 2016 Spanish GP. Coincidentally, he pushed Sebastian Vettel off the top of that record, who came second place in that same race.
Alright, so we have 2.5 minutes left for qualifying.
Formula One. Became close 5 times, 1978, 1980, 81, 85, 1997. One of the longest broadcasted races.
So Mama will begin his final lap of qualifying. Let's see if he can improve his P4 position. He's a tenth behind Will
More world driver championships than any other country.
and 3 tenths behind the leaders, the two Red Bulls. Now let's see what he could pull up in his sleeve. As he will receive some traffic and improve by 35 milliseconds. Here are the two Red Bull cars. Now let's see what he could pull up in the middle sector. Mama goes a tenth quicker. That provisionally lands him in P3 ahead of Will. I mean, not to foreshadow him, but let's see what he could put up in that Mercedes. Mama goes P. Oh, he doesn't. He lost some time actually. Commentator's curse, unfortunately. Jameer improves by 3 tenths nearly. Now let's see what he could put his Alpine. Jameer goes P5 ahead of his teammate. So it's a 1 minute 9.1. Fred Parsons meanwhile goes P7. That's pretty fair for him. Zoro's starting his lap. So is Will. Now the final shot for Mini, nearly 4.5 tenths gain. Mini goes P5. The 1 minute 8.9. Mike with a 10th gained in the first sector, 4 tenths gained in the middle sector. So the so Mike will have some DRS of his teammates. Mike will put his Mercedes up to P6. Good luck from as Chris goes even quicker. The 1 minute 8.1. That's the quickest time we've seen so far. Zorro, meanwhile, in the Aston Martin,
2019 Chinese GP was F1's
P7 for him, out of the two Alpines, as Will splits the two Red Bull cars. So that's your qualifying order, ladies and gentlemen. So here's your qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, Chris on pole position by nearly 3.5 tenths over Will in P2. They don't have Leighton, P3, Mama, Minnie, Mike, Zorro, Jameer, Tokai, and Fred Parsons. And we have 36 laps ahead of us in the race. Let's see who will come out on top. So the formation lap is now underway. As the two AlphaTauris make some contact with each other and they're both disqualified. And we'll have cold tires at the start. Right, so as Fred Parsons is qualified, Dan Cook is also disqualified. So two Alpha Towers and the two Alpha Romeos are both disqualified, and so is nobody actually. And five red lights, and away we go here in Zandvoort. It looks like Will's had an amazing start, and he's already jumped Chris into turn one. Chris not giving it up, but he'll have to yield. As Zora and Mike are side by side into the banking, which Mike will stay ahead of Zoro. Now Jameer will look to get involved in that. So it's Will who leads over Chris. Then we have Leighton. Then we have Mama and Minnie. Then we have Mike, Zoro, Jameer, Tokai, and Fred Parsons. So the top 10 pretty much stayed the same, apart from Will's overtake on Chris. As Minnie goes a bit wide into turn 10. Mike will have to go on the outside of turn 11. But Minnie will stay ahead of the Mexican. As some cards gets past the line cookie. And Mike and Minnie side by side into turn 2, and the banking. They make a bit of contact into the banking. And too close for comfort there. As it's hard racing between these two, as Mike will get past the McLaren driver up to P5 to make it a Mercedes 4-5. As Zora will look to get involved with Minnie. And tires. So everyone's on the mediums, apart from some cards who's on the softs. Alexa and JT Play Monster are on the hards. So some cards is looking is going to be aggressive on the opening laps. And we'll look to make ground as much as possible until he has to pit again. As Fred Parsons and Tim are going side by side, as Mike also will lose out. Mike loses out. Oh, there's some contact. Mike loses 4 places in the space of 2 corners, I believe. Not a good side for him. Looks like he got into a bit of contact with Minnie. So some cards on the soft tires. He's within the DRS range of Fred Parsons, as there's a bit of late moving there. And he gets past Fred Parsons. And he goes into the back of the Alpine of Tokai. But he makes the move stick, and he's now up to P11. There's JT Play Monster, who's had a bit of an off. She's a bit of swapping places on the leaders. So Chris backs off. To be clear, this corner after the backstreet is not a really wise spot for overtaking, as it's very narrow. I could leave some. As back to the action, we have Chris moving late on. Chris and Will moving late on each other. No, I mean Will moves late on Chris. As now Fred pits. Does he have damage? And Fred has damage. It's a disaster for the championship leader. Let's see if his teammate will bring home the points for McLaren. So on board with Leighton, as he's behind the two leaders. Leighton will have a go on Will, but no. He's too far. To make the launch, as DRS enabled for Will and Leighton and Mama. So what can Will do? Will goes on the inside of turn 1. As Chris now is squeezed off the track. Now Leighton will benefit and will move up to P2. Now Mama, look at Mama. He's close behind. Now let's see what the Mercedes can do. Leighton with DRS on Will. So no position changes, but Leighton is, oh boy, too close for comfort. But he's just about kept it clean. So Leighton and Chris and Mama will all have the DRS on Will respectively, as Chris brakes a bit too late and nearly rear ends his teammate for a fact. Now let's see what the Red Bull drivers could do on Will. So it's 4 tenths between Leighton and Will, and Leighton goes on the outside of turn 1, but Will manages to cover as there's some contact. Will unsettles his car quite a bit. Leighton 2 tenths back on Will. Let's see if he can make the lunge. No, it's not. He thinks it's not a wise place to overtake. as he backs off and will have the DRS on the main straight. So Leighton using a bit of his DRS, and he will go on the outside of turn 1 as he gets pushed to the grass. Now Chris will re-overtake his teammate. So as Tim and Jameer now. Oh! Oh! My shit. Nearly had a heart attack there. As probably Zoro's gone off track on the exit of turn 2. Coming into turn 3. But he's fine at the moment. And I don't think he has visible damage. Oh no, he doesn't. He's fine. But there could be some damage for him. But not quite as the leaders. Again. Chris. Now 4 tenths back on Will. Now let's see what he could do. Will he go inside or outside? Will covers the inside. Chris now will hang the outside. And will keep pretty much retain his position as his car unsettles quite a bit. Through a bit of contact as Sam Cards and Fred Parsons, they both swap places in the Alfa Romeo and the Alfa Tauri respectively. Fred Parsons sends it on Sam Cards, but Sam Cards will have the better exit on Fred Parsons. Here is the fight for the midfield, from P5 all the way to P9. As now Lion Cookie spun on the exit of turn 8. No visible damage for him, which is a good sign. But there could be damage, since it's tons of damage. As Chris will go on the inside and they make contact. As Chris will barge his opponent wide. What is this turning it to? The fight for the top is turning into a bumper cars race. Like, not to be mean to the drivers, but so Chris is now closer than ever on his opponent. Now let's see if he can get safely through. Chris on the outside, he will go, and he will, as, what are you doing, Will? Will forces Chris off the track. This is really competitive. An intense battle between these two. As will try go for the overtake into the flat out turn 7. As not as I forgot, Mama's got past Leighton, and now the Mercedes drivers up to P3. So Alexa's got past some cards. Now up to P11. Now Leighton's got back past Mama for P3. Well, 4 tenths behind Chris. Will he still go for the move? No, he's too far back to make the lunge. Now Zoro gets past Mini for P5. There's still a train. Some cards now into the pits to get rid of his softs, and he will go on the. And some cards will go on the mediums, and he will try to last out for the entire race. But he'll suffer some degradation in the final stages of the race. So I think he's probably going for a 2-stopper or BF to the end for him. Gap is still 5 tenths between the leaders. As now Leighton's in the pits for a possible undercut on his competitors. Mike is in as well for an undercut on the likes of Zoro, Tim and Kabir, and possibly Mini. So these three divers are looking for an undercut attempt on their competitors. As Jack will get past Mike. Jack and JT Play Monster will both get past Mike. As they'll eventually have to pit. So Mike is now past JT Play Monster. He's dispatched the AlphaTauri. He's fallen into a bit of traffic. So Mike gets past Jack. Now let's see if he will get past Jameer for the undercut. These two former teammates at Mercedes, they'll come out really close on the pit exit, and Mike will get the jump on Jameer. So the undercut has worked with the Mercedes man. And here's still a battle for the leaders. As Will fell a bit back on Leighton because Leighton attempted an undercut on Chris and Will, but he managed to jump Will, and now is behind Chris. So the, as Jax spun and he's went off, Mama's in, Minnie's in, Zora's in. Will Mike get the jump? So Mike and Jameer will will slightly jump Minnie and Zoro. So the undercut has pretty much worked for Mike. And back to the leaders we go. Mama on the softs gets past Alexa. I don't know why he's on the softs, to be honest. Since we're under half race distance. As Tim now picks. Let's see if Mike, Jameer, Minnie and Zoro where he will come out compared to them. Mama is so back to the leaders. So Tim as a result has lost some time and he's fallen back behind his teammate, but he will have the upper hand on his competitors. As he's on the pressure tires compared to them. And forgot to mention Leighton's got past Chris. So the Canadians now up to the lead of the race. By the time we reach half distance, so Chris is now back past his teammates and sets the fastest lap of the race. Mama is now set the fastest lap because he's on the softs, remember? Now Mike's got past Alexa. Jameer's been overtaken by Minnie. Jameer with the DRS on Minnie, but it's not a wise place for overtaking, as he will have a chance at the main straight. And now the likes of Jameer, Zoro and Minnie, they've all caught up to Alexa, who's on the old hard and is pretty much suffering at this point, as now Minnie's easily got past the Haas and at his former team, as Alexa will eventually lose out the place to Jameer and Zoro. As I'm surprised to see that we've seen no DNFs so far. Everyone's racing cleanly today. As the stewards will be happy after tonight. But we still have 16 laps of action remaining. As Jameer is now gonna get past Alexa. They make a bit of contact, these two. As now Jameer on the outside of turn 12 will get past the horse. And now Zoro's easily cleared Alexa. And now up to P8 he goes. as he will fight off Jameer for the time being. These two former teammates at Ferrari in season 4. Ferrari in season 4. As Alexa now pits for the mediums and will come out behind Fred probably. Oh no, ahead of Fred, because Fred's now into the pits. Fred will go on the mediums most likely. And Fred will lose at the place to Jack in the end. So Zoro 2 tenths behind Jameer, but that's too far if you're going for a move into a corner like that. As now Tim, fresher tires compared to Zoro and Jameer, now 1.6 behind the pair, and we look to make it a 3-way fight for P7. Zoro will... Oh, Zoro he's underfueled, so he will have to lift and coast. Now let's see the fuel status of all the drivers. So Zoro, Tokai, Sam Cards, JT Play Monster, Jack, they're all underfueled, so they will have to do a bit of lifting and coasting, and they'll hope for a safety car to come out, but I don't think it will come out at this state. As the fight for the lead is still on. Now let's see if Will can get the jump on the first Red Bull car of Leighton. As there's some contact, JT Play Monster spun round, and there's a safety car. Lan Cookie is now... He's damaged his front wing. As Mike, Mini, they're all into the pits. So I think it's safe to say that Mama has done a good choice of going on the soft tires. JT Play Monster does not have visible damage, but Lan Cookie demolished his front wing, and now will definitely head to the pits. JT Play Monster is now also in the pits. So is Jack, but Fred stays out since he's on pretty much fresh mediums. JT Play Monster now on the mediums. They all go. But will the top 5 pit? They have a clear... the top 4 have a clear... As some cards gets a drive-through penalty for speeding out their safety car. As now they're all in to the pits. Leighton will lose the position to Will and Chris. Will and Mama, because of the double stack. Yeah, he does. But Tim's now pitted. So Leighton's lost to Will and Mama due to the double stack. And some cars gets a drive-through penalty for speeding in the safety car. Oh, as Chris and Will, they're both on the softs. That's a massive risk, if you ask me. 12 laps on softs. It will The softs will eventually wear out in the end, but they will have a lot of grip on the restart, and will pretty much get the jump on Mama, and will clear him. So here, guys, I'll be back. I'll go grab some.
hoping to see their favourite drivers battle it out on track. The Nürburgring is the only F1 track.
So guys, I'm back. So everyone's pretty much bunched up, apart from the Alfa Romeo of Cookie, but he will, as the safety car is now in this lap. So TGT Chris, the Red Bull driver, will lead us on the restart with 10 laps remaining, and let's see where as Chris is. Let's see when he will get underway, as he slowly starts, and he's now underway. It's a bit of a slow reaction from Chris, as Will's got. Mike is now looking for a move on Leighton, but Leighton's now looking for a move on Mama. So it's Sam Carter is now into surface penalty. So that's the end of his race, pretty much. But there's still 10 laps remaining of this Dutch Grand Prix. Let's see if Will or Chris will come out on top. And let's see if Leighton or the two Mercedes cars will finish on the podium. Or even Mini, or even Jameer, or even one of the Aston Martins, if something happens. But back to the front, we have Chris and Will pretty much clearing the rest of the field due to them being on the soft compound. But the softs will die in the end, so they will have to gain as much time as possible, so Leighton doesn't catch them up, as Chris has a 1 minute 10.7. Now Tim gets past Zorro, so it's a bit of team orders at Aston Martin. Jameer loses 2 places as a result. Now Alexa gets past Fred Parsons for P11. Leighton's now closing up on the medium compound.
Races. The German Grand Prix, European Grand Prix and Luxembourg Grand Prix.
Will and Chris still at each other. This reminds me of KP and Ben Finch in season 3, where they were fighting for most of the race and came together on the last lap on the last straight. And let's hope it's nothing compared to what happened in season 3, as Jameer has gone off and he loses a lot of places as a result. Fed's now in P11, so he's gonna look for some points tonight. Will constantly burning his ERS, but Will sells the dummy on his competitor, and Chris will just about hang it. So Will into this twisty section. They're all now getting close to each other. Now Leighton's right behind the pair, as he will get the benefit in the end. Now Will fancies the inside of Chris into turn 1, and now they're still side by side into the banking. Now Leighton will look to get involved, but they make contact, the Canadian and the British driver. As now Mama will look to get involved, as Sam Kurtz, he's had enough and he's retiring from the race. So that's the end of his race with 6 laps left of the Dutch Grand Prix. As now there's a 6-way fight for the lead. As now the two Mercedes cars and Mini are looking to get involved in this fight. So Will 4 tenths back on Chris. Will sends it on the inside, but Chris has kept it clean, he kept it smooth, and he's still leading the race, as Will now gets the better exit, but there's no way to make the move here, as Alexa gets past Tokai for P9. Another safety car. What's happened? Sam Colt has lost. No, not Sam Colt. JT Play Monster has lost his front wing. So he's out. So his race is pretty much done with 5 laps left. But it's not the end of the world for him, as he could pit. Let's see who will come to the pits. Will is in the pits as he's making a massive risk. Now let's see if the risk will pay off for Will Witchell. As the bottom 10, the bottom as just play monsters out. The bottom 6 has pitted, but they run into some traffic. Now let's see where the likes of will end up. It's a similar scenario to Ben Finch in season 3 in Zandvoort. As Jax now crashed into the wall. Will the safety car be in or will it stay out for one more lap? So the safety car will stay out pretty much. Yeah, it is going to stay out. And it's going to be 2-3 laps up as now Tokai is into the pits from P9. Yeah, as will have one less car to clear up. And he will be on the freshest tires on the restart. As it will be a 3-lap sprint to the end. A 2-3 lap sprint to the end. So the two Freds are swapping positions. Fred Parsons and Fred the owner. Chris on 9-lap old softs. Will on 1-lap old softs. So will Leighton defend if Will catches up? Chris is he's now underway, and 2 laps left in this Dutch Grand Prix. As Will now will look to get past 2 cars of Tim and Alexa, and which he does actually. Nice work, Will. He's on a charge. Now let's see if the risk will pay off for him. Now Zorro lets off Will. Now Will is trying to get past Mini to turn 9, but that's not going to be the case for him. Now Will is going to clear up Mini. Up to P5 he goes. Now Will has Mike in his uh, front view. Now he clears him up. 2 laps remaining in this Dutch Grand Prix. Is Will going to be able to do it? Now Jameer's now past Fred Parsons, up to P11. So Will into turn 7. He has a look on the inside of Mama, but that's not going to be the case, as he's going to send it to turn 9. They're going to make a bit of contact, but Will is going to stay ahead. So what will Leighton do now? Will he instead race, or will he defend for his teammate? It's the final lap of the Dutch Grand Prix. As Chris now slides, the two rivals are going to continue to fight. Now Will sends it on the inside of Leighton. Will Leighton be able to keep it up? Keep it ahead? Yeah, he is ahead. Going to be ahead. Now Will's burnt all his eras. This is going to be one of the closest races, finishes, as Will is now past. Now is Will going to be able to do it with half a lap remaining? And now here comes Chris and Will. Now is Will going to get the position? He just misses out. So Chris wins the Dutch Grand Prix by a 10th. Actually, Will Witchell, after a final few laps charge, comes on P2. Then we have Leighton, the Canadian, at rhymes. So Fred's dog of the day. I pretty much agree. So Chris, after a tough Monaco Grand Prix, picks up his second win of the season. Then we have Will Witchell with the fastest lap to boot in P2 by a 10th. Leighton P3, Mike P4, Mama P5, Mini P6, Fred P7 from all the way at the back of the grid, Tim P8, Jameer P9, Alexa P10, Fred Parsons P11, Lancock P12, Tokai P13, Zoro P14, Jack DNF, and 2 Alphatars DNF. So let's get Chris on the interview. Chris. Yo, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yep, yep. All good.
Right, want to
All
start
fine.
with the interview?
Yep.
Uh, First of all, congratulations
Yeah, thank you,
on
thank
that
you.
win. How do you feel?
Well, first of all, it's a very big boost for the team.
Speaking of Will, obviously he's pitted and made a huge gamble on the with 2 laps remaining. Did you feel under pressure while defending him for the final lap? Or right, talking about the championship, the drivers and constructors championship. Obviously, you guys as a team had didn't have the best start to the season. How will this result affect you guys coming to the next race?
Win right now because
Right. Final question for you. With 4 races into the season, how are things going at Red Bull? Are you happy with the team or that's great to hear. Congratulations again. You deserve it. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you next week. No worries. Right, guys, you've you've heard words from our race winner tonight, Chris. Was a very close race, not just at the front, but at the midfield. There were close fights in the midfield between the likes of Mike, Mama, No, not Mama. Mama was at the top before the safety car. Between Mama, Jameer, no, Mike, Jameer, Zoro, Tim, Minnie. This fight was close, and even the back markers. So this track, to be fair, is a bit challenging, but it produces good racing, as we've seen from this race and the previous seasons. And next race is tomorrow is going to be the D2 race um, where we're gonna start at 8 p.m. UK time, which is midnight in Dubai, where our D2 drivers will be racing around the same track. And next week will be Canada actually. I believe it's the first time we raced in Canada in the whole league. So it's going to be an interesting track. And I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. And thank you all for tuning in with me. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day. And I'm gonna see you guys next week on commentary. Peace.